Right. So, we are doing chapter 3 today. That's the chapter we're doing today. Chapter 3 out of 15, as we know. So, obviously, I'll start with the ones that you haven't done or heard of. And chapter 3 is what I talked about earlier on. Chapter 3 is called decimals, percentages, and rounding. Can you see this? Decimals, and we're starting from the back. Decimals, percentages, percentages, and rounding. Decimals, percentages, and rounding. That is the chapter we are doing right now. Do you hear me? We are doing chapter 3, decimals, percentages, and rounding. Now, it has 4 parts. So there's 3.1, there's 3.2, so it's 3.1. Then there is 3.2, then there is 3.3, then there's 3.4. So we want to look at 3.3, which is compound percentages. We talked about 3.4, but we'll talk about it a little bit, which is bounds, okay? And then 3.2 was what we did last time, if you remember, multiplying and dividing by decimals, where we were changing the decimal, okay? Just like 3.1, we will also review it, which is multiplying and dividing by powers of 10. So I need you to know all this. If I ask you how to do each of these, you must tell me, what do you use to do that part? So when I ask you, how do I do this? You should tell me, we do this and this and this. What about this? You should tell me, we do this and this and this. Are we together? Good. In compound percentages, 3.3, okay? 3.3 means chapter 3, part 3. We are doing chapter 3, and it has 4 parts, like you have just seen. Your chapter 3 has 4 parts. These are the 4 parts. These are the 4 parts of chapter 3. 3.1, 3.2, 3.3, and 3.4. The 4 parts of chapter 3. So if you go to chapter 3.3, which is chapter 3, part 3, and you do compound percentages, you want to understand compound percentages. Right, let me say this, what you just have to know, okay? You're going to do a bigger section when you get to IGCSE next year. But for checkpoint, what you need to know, give me a second, I need to cough. For checkpoint, it didn't mute. It was a mistake. I didn't mute it. For checkpoint, what you need to know, can you all hear me? For checkpoint, what you need to know for percentages, I'll be fast, is that, listen, you're going to be increasing or decreasing by a percentage. I feel like I talked about this at some point. So when you're increasing or decreasing by a percentage, just remember this. You always start at 100%. So if they tell you you decrease by 20%, okay, that's fine. But you don't use 20%. It's meaningless. You are going to take it to 100%. Then you see, was it an increase or a decrease? So always start. This is where a lot of people make a mistake. Always, when you're dealing with percentages, we're going to do the questions just now. You are not allowed to break the rules. You are a smart kid. I'm counting on you. Remember, I say it started 100 if it's a percentage. Don't change. Don't change, student. Start at 100%. Now, if there is a decrease, I know they will give you the decrease, but that's not what you use. If there is a decrease, subtract it from 100%. If you decrease by a percentage, subtract it from 100%. Are we together? If there is an increase, add it to 100%. If there is an increase, add it to 100%. Okay? Then multiply the results. Okay? So, then multiply the results. Let's go to do the questions that we are doing here. Listen, 200 increased by 10%, then increased by 15%. Can you see this? $220 increased by 10%. Now, can I ask you a question? Is 10% a special value to us? Is 10% going to be a special value to us? No, sir. It's not a special value. Why is it not a special value? Because we have not yet taken it to 100%. You gotta take it to 100%. So is it an increase or it's a decrease? This 10%. What is it? Students, is it an increase or a decrease? It's an increase. So you're going to say for exercise 3.3, for part A, it's an increase. So first we will say 100% plus 10%. Okay? Because it's an increase, so we must add 200. Don't ever use 10%. It's useless. You got to take it to 100. Come on. Don't let me down. What is 100 plus 10? It's 110%. Which means it is 110 over 100, which means it is 0.11. 110 over 100, we talked about it. When you are dividing by 100, we said you move the comma to the left 2 times because 100 has 2 zeros. So you move the comma to the left 2 times. So it becomes, the comma comes here. Okay, you put your 110 here with a pencil. Anyway, with a pencil. The comma comes here, that's 1. The comma comes here, that's 2. Okay, so it's 1.10. This is the value. It no longer has a percentage. It was 110%. Percent means over 100. So you then put it as 110 over 100, which is 1.10. Then we add the second one now. So we are going to multiply by 1.10. It's one of the values we are going to multiply because we were told to then multiply. Huh? Now we do the second one. Increased by 15%. Should we use 15%? No. Where do we take it to? 100. And what do? We add. Why would we add? Because we are increasing. So we would say that is 100%. Don't leave the percentage sign. Why would you leave it? Then you say plus 15%. I'll say to you, hey, why are you adding? You say, because we increased. Oh, hi. Hi, Little Cat's House. Thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you. Thank you so much. So you will get 115%. What is your name, little Kethouse? You get 115%. So now that you have 115%, you keep continuing. What does percent mean? What does this percentage sign mean, students? It means over 100. So we divide by 100. 115 divided by 100, because percent means over 100. And when you divide by 100, it means you are moving the comma 2 times to the left. When you divide, you always move it to the left. So it becomes 1.15. Okay? There's no percentage. This is the other thing we are multiplying by. So if you want to get your final answer, they said you are increasing $200. Okay? So, oh, hi, Selim. How are you? So that means you're going to say the solution becomes $200 times, what is the first increase we did? By 10%. So we multiply by 1.10. Then we multiply again by the other increase we did, which is 1.15. Tell me what answer you're going to get. How much money do you now have? You had $200. You increased it by 10%. Then you increased it by 15%. Thanks, Selim. You increase it by 10, then you increase it by 15. So this is how you increase. Don't let me down. 10%, how do we increase by 10? We add it to 100. So when we are increasing, the secret that a lot of people don't know is that we should always start at 100. So when you're increasing, you add to 100. You get an answer. Then you increase again, you add to 100. You get an answer. Then now you can multiply. You are only allowed to multiply after you add to 100 or thing. Thank you, Selim. So what is the answer you're going to get? Can somebody punch? What is 200 times 1.10 times 1.15? What do you get? 200 and what? 250 dollars. 200 and what? 253. Okay. Wow. Now you have a lot of money. I'm proud. I'm a very happy person. You've made a lot of money. That means you're a good business person. Good. That's how you should do it when you're doing business. You should always increase your net worth. How do you do it? By doing more and more. Let me take this call. Hello, good evening. Yes, how are you? I'm fine, sir. Okay, send to this number. Send the POD to this number. All right, thank you. So let's do part B now. Let's do part B. We know the secret. Percentages, if you want to get them correct, start at 100. If you don't start at 100, then I don't want to look at your work because you are rushing. It means you are rushing. You are not patient. You are not a patient mathematician. Start at 100. So you're going to see first you decrease by 10. Before you multiply, don't worry about the 200. We'll come to it. You decrease by 10%. So I want to know, what will I multiply by if I decrease by 10%? You will say 100% minus 10%. You will get 90%. Now, what is 90%, students? It's 90 over 100. Which means you will, if you want to do it the way we've been doing it, you move the comma 2 times to the left. So it goes, because 100 has 2 zeros. So you go 1, then you go 2. So this becomes 0.90. There we go. Which is the same as saying 0.9. You don't have to put this other 0. You can just say 0.9. Okay? So you can say 0.90, which is just 0.9. Now, what else do? You decrease again. Oh, why do you keep decreasing? You have decreased again by 15%. Okay, So we start at 100 again. Then we subtract 15%. Always start at 100. Always. Then here you get 85%. Always start at 100%. Now 85% means 85 over 100, which means you take your pencil, you write an 85, then you start from here, because this is where the comma is after 85. You move the comma 2 times. 1, 2. So the comma is now here, which means it's a 0.85. So you get 0.85. Now, you can now say, let's find out what it is. The new amount. You will now say $200 times 0.9 times 0.85. What will we get now? Can you multiply 200 times 0.9 times 0.85? Can you multiply and tell me what you get? Yes. Okay, great. So can you send me her number so that we add it to the group, or she'll keep using this one? Okay, please do that, and then we add it to the group. Then it becomes easy for us. Yes, thank you. Yes, yes. Hello, hello. Yes, hello. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay, thank you. Right. So do it. Say you get 153. So this becomes $153. I'm so proud of you. That's very good. All right, great, great stuff, great stuff. I'm proud of you. So this is how you do it. This is how you do it. Well done. Well done, well done, well done. So this is how you do it. Look at this one. Sometimes you can increase, then decrease. That doesn't affect us. We know how to do it. We focus on the increase and the decrease. We focus on the increase and the decrease. Then what do we do, Rita? What do we do? We add if it's an increase and we subtract from 100% if it's a. Always, if I don't see you starting from 100%, I will be so disappointed because you are losing marks. I told you to start at 100. Start at 100 all the time. Then now you can see what you increased by. It's okay, you see it, but always start at 100. You increased by 20%, so you add 20%. This becomes 120%. Wow, that's good. And this is actually 120 over 100, which is, if you put 120, you move 1, then 2. You move 2 times to the left, you get 1.20, which is like to say 1.2. Then we go to the decrease. Decreased by 5%. From what? From 100. So 100% minus 5%. This becomes 95%. Percent, which becomes 95 over 100. And that means you start from 95, then you move 2 steps to the left. You will get 0.95. You get 0.595. Hello? Okay, thank you so much. Let me add it and then we start with that. Okay, no problem. The link is coming in just now. Yeah, at a contact, not yours. Yes. Yes, everything I'll help her. I'll help her. Don't worry. No problem, sir. Thank you as well. Bye. Yes. Yes. Okay. I'll definitely do that. Okay, that's great. I'll do that. Cheers. Right. So this is 0.95, 0. So we start at 200. You say 200, you multiply by 1.2, then you multiply by 0.95, 80. What is the answer for this one? How much do we have now in dollars after this? Okay. I should scroll up. Hmm. On the working. Okay, like this. Put it down. 80. What do we get as our answer? This one. 200 by 1.2 by 0.95. What do we get? 228. Okay. So that means that becomes your final $228. $228. Okay. Right. I want you to now do all these questions that we're seeing. All these questions that you're seeing on the screen. I'm going to send it to you. Okay? Good. I'm going to give you all the questions. Then we'll do this. Don't let me down, eh? I'll send you the questions I want you to do. All right. In terms of bounds, okay, in the last 6 minutes, I'll do the 3.4, part 3.4. We saw that for percentages, the secret is start at 100. If it's an increase, you add. If it's a decrease, you subtract. 3.4 is now bounds. It's about bounds, the upper bound and the lower bound. So for bounds, the secret for this one is not to start at 100%. No. The secret for this one will be you look at what it's nearest to. So you want to find bounds. Here is what a question for bounds will look like. A whole number is rounded to the nearest 10. So you look at what it is rounded to the nearest to. So there's always a trick. For everything, there's always a trick. For here, the trick is look at what it's rounded off to the nearest to. Here, it's rounded off to the nearest 10. So if you're doing worked example 3.4, you know it's rounded off to the nearest 10. So what do you do with that 10? For there we saw you started 100, you can add or subtract and whatever. For here you started 10 and you divide it by 2. So this is rounded off to the nearest 10. You take that 10, you divide it by 2. Always divide it by 2 so that you can get the value that you need. This is the special value. The special value is the value that will help us to get everything. There is one value that will help us to get everything. So this is the special value. I'll always ask you for bounds. Did you find the special value? Okay. The special value, it's our trick. You get it by saying whatever it is to the nearest. So you should always find out what is it to the nearest. Then you divide that by 2. After dividing by 2, then after dividing by 2, then now we can find everything. Let's find everything now that we have 5. Let's now see how we use the special value to find everything. Let's do part A. List the integer values. If they ask you to list the integer values, you go to the answer and you subtract 5. What is 80 minus 5? Because 5 is the special value. So to list the answers, you say 80 minus 5, you will get 75. So the special integers, they start at 75. Okay? And they end at, you say 1 less than 5 is what? Is 4. You now add it to 80. So this is how you do it. You say 80, let me do it before you say 80 minus 5 to get 75. So this is where you start counting from. Then where you end is now 80 plus, instead of 80 plus 5, you do 80 plus 4, which is 84. This is where you end. You always do 1 less when you are now adding. So to list all your integers, you can now list them. Because you had the 5. You see the 5? Imagine if you didn't know the 5. Then how would you know to subtract or add what number to? You should always look at to the nearest. So now we know that we start at 75. We end at 84. Writing integers, which means whole numbers. So you say 75, 76, 77, 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 83, 84. We have added all the values. We have listed all of them. So these are all the answers that will give you 80 when you do them to the nearest 10. But how do you get them? There is a secret. You take to the nearest, you divide it by 2 so that you get the special value. Once you have the special value, you subtract it from 80 and you add it to 80. But when you add it, remember to remove 1. Good. Now, if they then ask you B, to say, look at part B, they will now ask you, what is the lower bound? The lower bound means what is the smallest answer that you had on your number line, on your list. It's this one. This is the lower bound. This number, this 75, is the smallest number. The one you get when you subtract. So our lower bound is 75. Then part 2, they ask you, what is the upper bound? You say, upper bound is the largest value, which you got by adding here, is 84. Do you see this? Do you see how you do this part? I'll need you to go back and rewatch a video if you're not sure. Remember, we have to do 15 topics in 15 days. So we need to move. You can see that it's the same answers as the book. Yay! Hooray! Now let's do a harder one, okay? Let's do a harder one as the last one. It is this one, where they say a number with 1 decimal place is rounded to the nearest whole number. No, let me not do it like that. Let me do it when it's harder. She rounds 55. The number she rounds 55 to has 1 decimal place. if you round something to 1 decimal place. Remember, the first thing we should always find out, because before we can list the numbers or find lower bound and upper bound, what we need is, what is it rounded to the nearest? So here they said it is rounded to the nearest something that has 1 decimal place. Let me teach you right now so that you know forever. 1 decimal place. If something has 1 decimal place, it means it is to the nearest whole number. It means it is to the nearest what? Whole number. Are we together? When you are told that something has 1 decimal place, you don't care about decimal place. You want to know what is it to the nearest so that we can use it to find our special value. Well, if something has 1 decimal place, it is to the nearest whole number. So now to find your special value, you take whole number. What is whole number? 1. Whole number means 1. What do? You divide it by 2 so that you get your special value and you get 0.5. This is our special value. Are we together? This is our special value. Now we want to list the numbers and everything. What do? We add the special value and we subtract it as well.